A diagonal fisheye lens is a unique option for pros and enthusiasts who like interesting, more artistic shots. The 15mm f2.8 EX-DG diagonal fisheye from Sigma lets you take advantage of acute perspectives that are invisible to the human eye. Many wedding photographers, underwater photographers, and sports photographers like this lens as it allows them to get the widest field of view possible with the signature fisheye barrel distortion effect. Designed for use with full-frame DSLRs, this lens has 180-degree edge-to-edge coverage, so you get that classic fisheye distorted field of view shown full frame. This lens has a minimum focusing distance of 5.9 inches and a magnification ratio of 1 to 3.8, so you can get very creative with subjects that are super close to camera versus the distorted backgrounds. Plus, the super multi-layer lens coating reduces flare and ghosting, providing the highest image quality throughout the entire field of view. And it comes with a 4-year US warranty. This lens also comes with a gelatin filter holder at the rear, so you can even add color correction filters for more creative applications. If you're trying for a more artistic approach or want memorable, eye-catching images that take in huge sweeps of the surroundings, the 15mm f2.8 EX-DC fisheye is a great lens for you. Explore the possibilities with Sigma.
In this part of the Canon EF Lens 101 series, we're going to cover macro lenses. Lenses that help make little details seem big. So what is macro photography? Macro photography is all about photographing objects that are really close to the lens. See, most lenses have a minimum focusing distance and they won't let you focus on things that are just inches away from the lens. But special macro lenses, like Canon's EF 100, let you get really close. Macro photography is great for photographing things like flowers, insects, jewelry. For example, if you wanted to get really close to show off the detail on a flower, a macro lens works great. Or let's say you wanted to photograph some seashells on the beach. Not only do macro lenses let you get super close to show off all the intricate details and patterns on the shells, but they also do a great job of creating that soft, blurry background that really helps those patterns and details stand out. So let's talk about some tips on using macro. First thing is, you're probably going to want to be on a tripod. With macro, you're shooting so close that any camera movement becomes really apparent in the final photo. Next, if you have one, using a remote cable release or even the camera's auto timer so that you're not shaking the camera when you press the shutter. Focus is really important. You want to focus on the part of the subject you want to be the sharpest. And when it comes to macro, f-stops can be really important. Let's say you're shooting a flower at a low f-stop at like f2.8. Even though you're focusing on one part of the flower, not only does the background become out of focus, but the rest of the flower itself can quickly become out of focus and blurry too. So you may need to increase your f-stop to maybe f11 or even higher to bring more of the flower into focus. Now here's one more tip. Even though macro lenses are designed for close-up work, they also work great for other types of photography, especially portraits. Canon's 100mm and 180mm macro lenses are favorites among some of the portrait photographers out there. As for lenses, Canon has a total of 6 macro lenses which range in focal lengths depending on just how close you want to get to your subjects. And for those of you that want to get into macro even deeper, make sure you look at the NPE 65mm, which lets you photograph a subject at up to 5 times its normal life size. Now, next up in the series, we're going to switch gears and we're going to go really wide with the unique perspective of a fisheye lens.
Hi there, I'm Kerry from DP Review, and this is the Sony FE 90mm f2.8 Macro G OSS. The Sony FE 90mm is a mid-telephoto macro prime lens for Sony's A7 series of full-frame mirrorless interchangeable lens cameras. Now, the FE 90mm is a true macro lens, capable of delivering a maximum reproduction ratio of 1:1, but that 90mm focal length means it's also very well suited to portraiture as well. A direct drive SSM autofocus motor ensures very fast, almost silent focusing. The built-in optical image stabilization helps keep things sharp at slower shutter speeds, and it's very useful when working at higher magnifications too. The Sony FE 90mm macro is sealed against dust and moisture and features a large, well-damped focusing ring with a distance scale. A physical focus limiter helps to reduce lens hunting at close focusing distances. Now, optically, the Sony FE 90mm macro is excellent, making it one of our favorite lenses for Sony's growing full-frame mirrorless system. For this and more, visit us at dpreview.com.
Hi, this is Dale Baskin from DP Review, and this is the Sony Vario-Tessar T-Star FE 16-35mm f4ZA OSS E-mount lens. This Sony 16-35mm lens is designed for full-frame Sony alpha mirrorless cameras, such as the Sony A7R, A7S, A7, and A7 II. Image stabilization has been finding its way into more and more wide-angle zooms, and Sony included its optical steady shot image stabilization system on this lens. It adds up to 4 stops of added stability for handheld shooting. Internally, this lens includes an impressive 5 aspherical elements, 1 advanced aspherical element, and 3 ED elements to reduce chromatic aberration throughout the zoom range. An all-metal body houses all that glass and gives the lens a solid, refined quality. This lens also features Zeiss's T-Star coating on all optical surfaces to minimize ghosting and flare while improving contrast. Weather and dust seals round out the list of features on this pro-level wide zoom. For more on this lens or all digital photography topics, head over to dpreview.com.